So my question for you guys is, what do you think? I kind of already shared some reasons why I think young adults are not good at processing either their past or their current experiences. Is there anything you would add to why we don't process like we should?
I feel like it's not an all the time thing, but sometimes people may be hesitant to process just because of the action that might be required after. So if it's maybe something that they need to process that involves another person and would entail having to have some type of conflict, hopefully like a healthy handling of it. But if it means having to address something afterwards, then I think that can definitely kind of put people off.
Sure, if I process it and I find the solution I need, but it requires me to, one, do something because I'm lazy, or two, have a confrontation with somebody,
Yeah.
heck no, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Thinking about the processing, something that came to mind similar to you is like the the solution isn't what you wanted. I also look at it in a way of for a lot of young adults, if the community ideas you process, like how do I build a community, and it's kind of a thing of sometimes when you process, you're looking for something that I don't think you can find in that time, in that season, maybe, and it's you won't even take what's close because you're looking for what's perfect for you, for your community. I think for myself and for other young adults at their during that age is you know what you want, but you're not really finding it, and you sometimes have to understand that maybe you won't find it right now, but you can't also do nothing. I think for myself is I look back and think there's so many young adult communities or so many church-led young adult groups that I could have joined during the time, but I went to it once, didn't feel like it was good enough for me, and so I just didn't do it at all. So I think when you go through your processing, you got to understand, it's going to take time to maybe reach the solution that you want if you have it in mind, or also you have to create it yourself. I mean, I think for myself, I look at young adults groups they're not completely controlled by the leadership team. It requires the people that go to it to make it what it is also. So if you go to a young adults community event type thing and you just, you go there once, it wasn't exactly what you wanted, but if you don't go again, well, then that community doesn't get built the way you were hoping it to. You kind of have to put your time and investment into it in order to create what you're really looking for, because others are probably looking for that too, and they will join you during your journey, but maybe you're the first one there.
That's good. Two things I want to comment on real quick before, Monica, you share your thing. I love, I'm going to paraphrase it. I've heard it said, sometimes life is not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? We're so focused, this is what the ideal destination I want to be, but a lot of learning in life happens in the journey. Actually, a lot of life happens in the journey. Right? Life is just a big journey, honestly, until it happens our destination, right? We never arrive, right? So there's that piece of it, having that perspective. Like, I'm not where I want to be. Maybe, the constant young adult conversation is romance, right? It's like, I'm not in the romance I want to be. Well, that's not all there is to life, right? So just understanding that the journey, honestly, this could be on a whole nother side conversation. There's a book about stewarding your singleness, your season of singleness. And unfortunately, a lot of people squander those years because they're so worried about the destination. And but in other things as well, I don't have the job I want. I'm not making the amount I want to make. And you're kind of neglecting the journey process. And the second thing you said that I really think is key, Jordan, is that the young adult demographic. And we're speaking with you guys, right? I'm not saying I've got this mastered over here.
Absolutely.
even the romance conversation, right? Alone. Me and Jordan have had plenty of conversation about this, right?
Easy now.
Yeah, anyway, not to get into our business, but anyway, but the resiliency is what we need to develop as young adults, right? Being resilient. Like you said in that Bible study. It wasn't how I wanted it to be. Didn't make me feel great. You got an option. You can sit there and complain about it, or you can do something about it, or stick it out a few more weeks, right? We're so feelings driven that we don't have the resiliency to push back to our own feelings sometimes and realize, wait, maybe my feelings just need to be adjusted. But developing tenacity and resiliency is definitely a good life skill that all of us can have as young adults or as we're past the young adult demographic age. But Monica, what do you think gets in the way of good, healthy processing as young adults?
Well, scientifically, because I'm a nurse, like James even mentioned, your prefrontal cortex is not developed, especially for males. Like, it's just not until you're like 24, 25, like that age range. But that's like, put that aside. Like, yes, that's scientific. But like, as a whole, like young adults are in an instantaneous society where like they are, okay, like, let me just go to college and like get this job. Okay, now I'm in this job. Now I'm going to do this. Like, now I'm going to get all the money and then I'm going to like buy a house. I'm going to get married and I'm going to have kids. Like, it's like one thing to the next. And if one thing doesn't work out, like say you graduate college or even you don't get into the college you don't want to, like you don't want, you like just jump to the next thing. You don't even take the time to reflect on that. And I think it's kind of like, it stems from, in my opinion, like not being taught how to do that, because like we're brought up in your parents' household from 0 to 18 and then you become an adult and it's like, okay, like you're kind of like on your own, you're going to figure this out. And like I think college is great for people to like kind of figure out their lives and like figure out like who they are, as long as you have good like people around you to build each other up. But the processing doesn't take place because it's like you're just like, okay, if this isn't working out, what's the next step to get to your end goal? Because it's like everyone has a goal in mind, whatever that is. But then it goes back to, sorry, not to ramble, but I just to think about this when James, you were talking.
You're cooking. Keep going.
But like it goes to your spiritual walk with the Lord. Like if you're truly not like set your eyes on Jesus and realize like, hey, tomorrow I might not have, so how can I live out just today to like fully be fixated on him and like everything I do? I think like a lot of Christians coming from like a like youth group, like senior year you graduate and then you are on your own for church. It's like, okay, I have to figure out where my relationship lies. And if your relationship in God is not rooted in like, okay, my goal is heaven. And yes, my life is a journey, but like tomorrow is not promised. So it's like, how am I stewarding what God has given me to process this through him, like the Holy Spirit, and how is like reading his word and like having the spiritual disciplines he gives us. I truly think like that's like part of the reason like we're just not processing as a culture of young adults.